All right, good afternoon, everyone. Craig Smith, South Dakota DOT Director of Operations. I appreciate everyone joining us this afternoon to kind of kick off our construction season. Before I kind of get to the presentation part, maybe just a few others that we've asked to join us today. We'll have Colonel Casey Collins with South Dakota Highway Patrol, Lindsay Willits with AGC, Associated General Contractors, and then Colin Karst to represent the contracting industry. Going to go ahead and share some slides here to get the discussion started. All right. Again, here's the folks joining us. Appreciate everyone joining. It's that time of the year. I'm not sure the weather is going to make up its mind when it's ready for construction season. We're kind of been bouncing around, but we're certainly ready to get the season going. Some of the topics we're going to talk about, wanted to talk a little bit about our National Work Zone Awareness Week that kicks off next week. Provide some of the resources we have out there. I think we got a lot of great resources for folks to plan their travels this year, and then hit on a few of our significant projects out in our 4 regions across the state, and then cover some frequently asked questions, and then we'll hear from Highway Patrol as well as the contracting industry. And as we go through the slides, feel free. Everyone should have the ability to ask some questions in the chat. Go and put them in there. We'll take questions at the end. Or if you prefer to ask a question, just raise your hand and we'll be able to unmute you at that time. And then as we go through watching the chat, we'll be putting some links in there as well to access some of these resources that are out there. So next week is National Work Zone Awareness Week. It's just an opportunity for the industry to bring awareness to drivers. It's that time of the year again, and as you are in your travels, you're going to run into work zones, and it's just an unfortunate thing. We need to do these projects to keep up the quality of the great highway system we have in South Dakota. But with that, definitely comes hazards in our work zones, and as you can see, those are some numbers, unfortunately, of the work zone and crashes that we see here in South Dakota, both on our state system and local system. When we look nationally, there's almost 800 fatalities annually, and unfortunately here in South Dakota, we see 2 to 4 fatalities, and those can be both drivers going through the work zone as well as the highway workers that are out there doing the work. So as we move into next week's National Work Zone Awareness Week, this year's theme is Safe Action, Save Lives, and we'll talk a lot about that as drivers, what we need to be doing, slowing down as you approach the work zones, staying aware, don't be distracted, don't be on your phone, all those things, and being aware of your surroundings is going to be important for all of us throughout these summer months. So as you plan your travels, hopefully everyone's going to get opportunity this construction season to get out and see things in our state, whether that's the Black Hills, or you're out doing some fishing or camping, or whatever reason you might be traveling. We got a lot of resources out there, and I do encourage you to plan your travels as you go about that, to find out where construction is going on, what to expect, possibly how to avoid some of the delays you might experience out there in your travel. There's 3 ways you can get to our 511 site, going to sd511.org, using our mobile app, or dialing the old traditional way on 511 is a great way. And that's the best way to stay informed when you're traveling. That's going to have the most up-to-date real-time information that is out there for you. It's also got other resources like cameras and things like that. What you need to know as you get in, you can drill down and really get into the information on the website, on the projects, read more detailed information, find links to our featured pages, find links to 511 are going to be in there. The other resource you have is if you're traveling out of state, you can go to the neighboring states 511s. There's going to be links there as well to get to that. On the right side of 511, you'll also find some ability to toggle different things that you can find on there, whether that's construction, commercial vehicle restrictions, cameras, or rest area sites. Again, all great information out there to plan your travels. One of the newer maps that we've put out there, maybe you haven't seen, and it just started last year, is really what projects we have planned throughout the construction season. This again is an interactive map, and these may or may not be active projects. They're going to be what we've got planned. At some point, this work will be done. So if you're interested or curious what's going on in your area, you'll be able to go out to that map. One of the good things in the map I do like is it's got the contact information. So if you see a project you want more information about, you got the DOT contact right there. You can reach out to them, get more information about what's going to be going on this summer. Our project web pages, again, we've really been putting a lot of effort to get the information out about our significant projects that are out there on our website. And these are organized by our 4 regions. You can click on that map there or click on one of the area offices that'll drill you down into the projects within that location and provide more information. So when you get to the project web pages, what are you going to find? You're going to find a map of the location of the project. You're going to find if there's detours for that project, if there's closures, find information on detours. Again, project contact information is going to be out there both for DOT staff as well as our contractors. As the project progresses, we'll also post some pictures out there as well as updates. One of the new features this year, you'll see on the right-hand side, kind of a summary bar there. Can have information about the schedule, again, the location, the type of work that's being done, cost estimate, as well as the contractors. So if you're not interested in all that, just maybe a quick glance on what information is out there. One of our more popular services has been the text-in service, and this is the ability to get project-specific text messages right to your phone that are being used for major traffic changes. They're not going to have a lot of the day-to-day stuff, but if there's a traffic shift or a change that drivers should be aware of, that will go right to your phone. And so to get information on that, go to our website and you can subscribe or unsubscribe either through your phone or there's also the ability on the website to sign up for multiple projects. So if you're wanting that quick update, definitely a great resource to be using. Another popular one is really our social media. Our Facebook page continues to grow. We use the social media posts to provide a little bit more detailed information about the projects, as well as it's going to have links to things like our press releases, again, 511, or if it's got a project web page, it'll go to that as well. You can kind of see on there some of the things that we do post. A lot of it's project related as well as other things going on DOT, and we're on several different social media sites, but Facebook being one of the more popular ones. As you go about your travels, if you're using one of our many rest areas along the interstate system, we also have kiosks, and on those TV monitors you can kind of see in there in the lower left corner of the slide as far as finding traveler information near the rest area. It's also going to have cameras and things like that are nearby that again provides great information for travelers out there this construction season. Just wanted to cover a few of the bigger projects across the state. So I'll highlight 3 projects from each of the regions to be aware of as you're traveling this summer. In the Aberdeen region, a couple of grading projects that were done last year on Highway 28 near Esteline, as well as on US 212 in Spink County. Both those projects, the grading work for mostly was completed last year. There could be a little bit this year to be done, and then both those projects will get asphalt surfacing on them this year. They will not be closed for that work. There will be pilot cars, flaggers throughout the construction season to get that surfacing work done. You can kind of see on all of these projects, they put a little bit of the schedule information that's out there on these project web pages. The third project on US 281 south of Aberdeen is scheduled to begin here this month, and involves work on some bridges. We'll be down to 1 lane as that bridge work, gets done in those areas. In the Mitchell region, we've got the big project on Interstate 229 at Cliff Avenue, a multi-year project. This will be the 2nd year that project has started, and there will be a short closure on the south side of 229 on Cliff Avenue to do some underground work here once school gets done, but after that, it would be some nighttime closures, things like that. So Probably not quite as much disruption this year on the Cliff Avenue project, but still be aware of that one. A lot going on down there yet this construction season. Highway 44, the one in the middle, project going south of Lenox out to Interstate 29, involves some grading and resurfacing, and that project will involve a closure as well. And again, more information on detours, I'd recommend you go to the website for that one. There's also a county project north of Lenox on the county road that could cause some travel problems. So again, plan your travel accordingly in that area. The last one, the Metro region, I'll talk about Highway 46, another multi-year project. The grading work was completed on that one, and this is going east of Beresford to the Iowa state line. We will begin doing the surfacing work this year, and that will be closed. It'll be the same detour as the grading project last year. We'll be maintaining just local traffic only as that work gets done. In the Pierre region, we've got a shouldering project on Interstate 90 that will begin here in the near future. That one will be going two-way traffic in the westbound lanes, and the work will be done in the eastbound lanes. Been working with the contractors so we can accelerate that work, get that work done shorter time period. The plan for that is to be completed by the end of July ahead of the rally traffic. Multi-year project in Pierre on Euclid Avenue or the new South Dakota Highway 1889. Last year, the part in green there was completed. This year, it'll be that northern part of the project will be done. A lot of area sections will be closed while that work's being done. So if you're traveling through Pierre, expect that work to be done. Grading project on Highway 73 south of Kadoka. Most of the grading work was completed last year. We've got some remaining grading work at the very north end. We expect some surfacing to be work to begin later this year and be completed in July next year. The last region, a few projects in Rapid City region. We've got the bridge work out of the Bull Creek bridges near Wasta. One of those was completed last year. We're looking for the second one to be completed in that August time frame. That Interstate 90 traffic is in the two-way condition out there. One that if you're traveling through Custer State Park, you may notice we did have some closures over the winter, do some culvert work this summer. We will be doing some resurfacing work on 16A. The highway will be open, but expect the pilot car flagger situation there, which could cause some delays on that project. Very large project, been multi-year, a lot of work being done on US 385 in the Black Hills. The last of the grading work is being completed on that section, that south section in phase 2, kind of north of Sheridan Lake. As that work gets completed, we will be doing an interim surface to be completed by June, and then it'll remain as an interim surface through the remainder of the year with the overall final asphalt surfacing to begin next year in 2027. Just a few prod questions that we get, some common ones out there. As far as why are roads not surfaced prior to winter? So I talked about some of the things like the US 385 where we're doing the interim surface. And as we do grading work, we do like to have it sit through a freeze thaw. It helps take some of that settlement out. So when we do the final surface, we get the full life cycle out of that. So unfortunately, that may require lower speeds or sometimes rough roads through those winter months. But one of the questions we get, but we really do see longer lasting roadways if we can let it sit through at least one winter. Interstate projects, we will go two-way traffic in one lane. Sometimes we do realize it seems like they're pretty long at 10 to 15 miles with that two-way traffic. But with the cost of doing the crossovers, it just makes sense to do that. Those crossovers can be quite expensive, and so it's difficult to phase those in that regard. And so kind of along those lines, you may drive through a project not seeing a lot of work being done, and a lot of these projects has a lot of different contractors working on them. So to plan that work accordingly, there may be times you see work not being done. It's just really to accommodate some of the contractor schedules. which really ties to the last bullet. I'll maybe take that one first is, do contractors get rewarded for completing projects early? And we do have incentives on projects to get the work done early, hopefully minimize some of the delays to drivers. Likewise, if they don't meet those completion timelines, there's disincentive monetarily or penalties associated with that as well. Then the last one we hear is advisory or enforceable speeds, and one of the advisories are the black on orange signs, really bringing drivers aware of maybe it's a transition or a rough road, providing a suggested speed for that condition, where the enforceables are going to be the actual regulatory black on white that could be enforced by law enforcement out there during the construction season. So just want to touch on those since that's a few things that we hear quite commonly from folks during the construction season. So with that, I'm going to kind of pass it over to Colonel Collins to give us a South Dakota Highway Patrol's perspective.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. As you mentioned, I'm Colonel Casey Collins. I'm Superintendent of the Highway Patrol. I just want to spend a few minutes on some key safety points as we head into construction season, especially as we recognize National Work Zone Awareness Week. To start, I'd like to focus on one of the biggest dangers facing our highway workers, which is very similar to what our troopers navigate every day. And that's the very real danger of being struck by a vehicle. These construction zones are tight. There's a lot of heavy equipment, concrete barriers, traffic cones, and that leaves very little room for error. So when you're operating in those narrow spaces, there's just really no buffer if a driver isn't paying attention. At 55 miles an hour, your vehicle's moving about 80 feet every second. That means in just 4 seconds, you traveled over 107 yards, which, to put that in perspective, is the length of a football field. So if a driver looks down at a phone for just 4 seconds, they've effectively driven the length of an entire football field with their eyes closed. In a workspace where our construction crews are just feet away from moving traffic, that distance is more than enough to cause a tragedy. If the vehicle is moving, we just ask that the distractions stay down. The phone needs to stay put, and minimize those. Another item I want to touch on is the move over law. As of July 1st, 2025, the move over law was updated to protect everyone working on our shoulders. In addition to emergency vehicles and law enforcement, it now applies to any vehicle occupying the shoulder using amber, yellow, or blue warning lights. This is an important distinction because it just doesn't apply to stop vehicles as it did in the past. It includes vehicles occupying the shoulder at slow speeds, such as our DOT workers conducting mowing operations, our construction crews, tow trucks, utility workers. As you probably know, the law is very specific about what's required. If you're on an interstate highway with 2 or more lanes in the same direction, you must merge into the lane farthest from the vehicle at least 300 feet before you reach them. If you're on a 2-lane highway, you must slow down at least 300 feet before the vehicle to a speed that is at least 20 miles an hour below the posted speed limit. If the speed limit is already 20 miles an hour or less, you have to slow down to 5 miles an hour. We take the move over law very seriously. And the reason for that is because the consequences are very real if we don't, have traffic move over. A standard violation is a Class 2 misdemeanor. The total fine and cost amount on that is $348.50. However, if a crash occurs because someone failed to move over or slow down, becomes a Class 1 misdemeanor with, much steeper penalties. Finally, just want to talk a little bit about work zone enforcement from the Highway Patrol's perspective. Speeding fines are doubled in marked construction zones because the risks are much higher when workers are present. As we always do during the seasons, we'll have troopers conducting high visibility enforcement, working directly within these projects. Those signs are out there for a reason. They serve as a reminder that these zones require extra caution from everyone. And really, our goal is simple. We want to ensure that every person working on the roads and every driver that passes through those construction zones makes it through safely. So just like everybody to keep those priorities in mind as we start this busy season. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Colonel. Next, we're going to hear from Colin Karst from a contractor's perspective, the ones out there actually doing the work for us. Colin?
Yeah, thanks, Craig. Again, I'm Colin Carson with BX Civil and Construction. As it's been talked about, is we're kicking off construction season across South Dakota, and what that means is you'll start seeing or have been seeing more work zones out on our roads right now. So with that, it comes an an important reminder, work zones are not just construction sites. These are active work environments where people are doing their jobs. Navigating a work zone is a change from the normal. They require extra attention to your surroundings to be able to safely navigate them on a day-to-day basis. As contractors, we go to great lengths to set up safe work zones with barriers, signage, and traffic control. And we're constantly evaluating and making subtle changes to these traffic control setups as jobs change and progress. But what we can't control is driver behavior. And we need help from the general public with that. We understand that these work zones affect daily routines and they can oftentimes be frustrating to travel through, but we are taking steps and doing things to ease that and make it as navigable as possible. So you go to the next one there, Craig. Thank you. Work zone crashes are nearly 3 times more likely to result in fatalities for the drivers and passengers than they are for the workers. So that means that it's not just our workers that are in danger. It's actually the opposite. The drivers and passengers are in more danger than our workers are. Too many of these crashes are caused by speeding, distraction, or impaired driving. And we personally just had all 3 of these instances occur this year on a single job that was a full closure in Lincoln County. So that just goes to show that these aren't just words for awareness. These things they're happening, they're real, and they're putting workers and themselves at a very high risk every time they get on the road. More and more, we're seeing drivers looking at their phones instead of the road, and that's just a dangerous combination in general, and especially in a work zone. So I'll just close with that. We need the public's help to keep our workers, themselves, and other motorists safe. The best way that we can do that is put all of our distractions aside and be hyper aware of our surroundings especially when you see the orange signs and cones ahead.
All right. Thank you, Colin. Now Lindsay's going to talk a little bit of a fun program AGC's been doing that has a little fun, but also brings some great awareness to work zones. Lindsay?
Thank you, Craig. I'm Lindsay Willits, the Deputy Executive Vice President with the AGC of South Dakota. With Work Zone Awareness kicking off next week, we are excited to once again put on our annual Work Zone Awareness Billboard Contest. It's a fun program where we work with 4th grade students from across the state, ask them to create artwork that shares the important message of work zone safety. Through their drawings, they remind us all to slow down, stay alert, and watch out for both workers and drivers in the construction zones. AGC contractors get involved by choosing winning designs and then turning them into real billboards that you'll start seeing next week during Work Zone Awareness Week. Billboards are usually up about 30 to 60 days, so get to kick off the construction season as well. It's just a great way to take a serious message and make it a way for kids to share it. And sometimes it just sticks coming from kids. So next slide. And then also what really makes this program special is the community side of it. We're working with schools from all across the state, and these students are helping carry a message that honestly a lot of drivers need to hear. The messages remind us to slow down, pay attention, and keep the work zone safe. This year, we're hosting, it's 9. We actually just had another one add, so we're hosting 9 press events across the state during Work Zone Awareness Week. Teachers get involved, students, parents, contractors, as well as the community and DOT officials attend those. So it's one message, but it's really reaching people all across our state. At the end of the day, it's pretty simple. Everyone in a work zone deserves to make it home safely. So thank you for letting me share about this program and to highlight the importance of work zone safety, and I'll turn it back over to Craig.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Lynn. Great events. I've had the privilege to be able to attend some, to see the kids and the recognition they get, bringing a great message out there is a fun day. We'll kind of wrap things up. I'll open it up here to questions, but before we do this, kind of to bring it all around that, it is safety in all we do, and it isn't just DOT, it isn't just Highway Patrol, it isn't just the contractor. It really is all of us And all of us are out there driving every day. We're going to experience work zones. We're going to experience delays, unfortunately, but it really does take drivers' awareness, slowing down, staying aware, don't be distracted to make sure that everyone does make it home every day. And as Colin said, that isn't just the workers out there that see this every day. It is the drivers and passengers in those cars that are at that risk. So we do encourage everyone to be aware as you drive through our work zones this summer. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the screen here, see if we've got some questions out there. Feel free to put something in the chat, or if you want to just raise your hand and we can unmute you as well. So see if do we have anything in the chat? Well, it looks like we've got all the links out there. Not seeing any questions. I guess if anyone's got one, we give you a minute here, but would encourage you to go to the links out to our website. You'll find all that information, all the resources that we talked about, and really encourage everyone to use those. We put a lot of effort and definitely take some pride in providing that information and doing what we can to keep drivers informed. All right, well, not seeing any questions, I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up. And again, appreciate everyone's time. Encourage you to drive safe and have a safe construction season. Thank you.